Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Susan had such a wonderful speech. Please go ahead and lower your expectations for mine. But I will give it my best shot. The Haftorah portion we are about to read is taken from Hosea chapter 2, verses 1 through 23. This particular passage was somewhat difficult to read in today's age, as some of the words used have very negative connotations towards women. Hosea is married to Gomer, who was a woman of ill repute at the time. Their marriage was meant to be a living representation of God's covenant with the Jewish people, with God being represented by Hosea and the Jewish people being represented by Gomer. Hosea is the loving husband who provides for Gomer, but unfortunately, Gomer does not always appreciate what she receives from Hosea and is often tempted by other men. This is meant to show how the Jewish people would sometimes revert to their old ways and begin partaking in practices, rituals, and rites of other gods, forsaking the first commandment. God becomes angry when this happens and speaks very harshly towards the people of Israel, symbolized by Gomer. Complain against your mother, complain, for she is no longer my wife, and I am not her husband. Let her remove her whorings from her face, her adulteries from between her breasts, or I will strip her naked and expose her, as on the day she was born. Hosea chapter 2, verses 4 through 5. Eventually, though, God forgives the Jewish people as Hosea forgave Gomer. Gomer realizes that the grass isn't greener on the other side and returns to Hosea. The Jewish people realize that all of the gifts given to them were actually given by God and not by Baal. The people turned away from Baal and the Baalim and returned to God. So what can we take from this passage? First, we have to understand that this was written in a time when marriage was not between two equal parties. The husband had most of the power, and the woman was very dependent on her husband. God is all-powerful, and we are not. We depend on God to help us in the world. Second, it was written by men and for a primarily male audience, so the wording that is used can be harsh in today's age. The harsh language was meant to be shocking, since it was also meant to be a warning. Basically, if you turn away from God, your nation will be destroyed. It was meant to show how Hosea was so desperate to warn the Jewish people. Third, the relationship between God and the Jewish people, much like the marriage between Hosea and Gomer, is a covenant which cannot be broken. When wrapping tefillin around the middle finger, the following line from Hosea chapter 2, verse 21 is recited. I will betroth you to me in righteousness and justice, in steadfast love and compassion. Wrapping tefillin around the middle finger is meant to symbolize the connection between ourselves and God, like a ring symbolizes the covenant between a husband and a wife. The relationship has been restored and the covenant has been reaffirmed. We can take this passage at face value with its most obvious meaning, that there is only one true God, and that we should not turn away from him lest we face destruction. Or we can choose to delve deeper into the less obvious lesson. We should look into ourselves to try to find forgiveness for those whom we felt have wronged us. God is rightfully angry when the Jewish people stray from him. We have likely all been angry and have felt betrayal before, and we can understand why God reacts the way he does. However, God is very forgiving and eventually does welcome back the Jewish people once they realize there is only one true God, just as Hosea forgives Gomer and welcomes her back. Although the passage is somewhat unsettling to read initially, I believe we can take the underlying message of forgiveness to heart. Thank you.